Hi, I am Dr. Abbas Malik and I am your instructor for mobile application development using Flutter. In the last lecture of this series, we have learned how we can integrate the SQLite database inside our Flutter application using the sqflite package. If you have not subscribed this channel, then please subscribe it so that you can get the notification of new videos. So in today's video, we will continue our discussion on integration of the local database inside the Flutter mobile application, but this time we will be using a different package whose name is Drift. Drift is more powerful package as compared to the SQLite, and it gives you different type of the functionalities. Type safety, no SQL parsing the list. We don't need to do that. Stream queries, we can register different GUI components the for any changes that happen in the database, and then the GUI component will be notified of that change so that the GUI component can update itself with the new data from the database. Fluent queries, we have a type safety SQL. We don't need to write the SQL, but even if we are writing the SQL, we have a built-in parser and analyzer which can tell us if there is a problem with the SQL query. We also have the migration tools that help us to migrate from the older version of the database to the newer version because the life is changing and the world is changing. So we also need to change time to time our database model. So inside the Drift, we can define different type of the column types. So we have, if you look at here, we have the integer type. We have the integer type here. We then we also have the begin. Then we also have a string while, which is the text. Then we have a boolean. Then we have real. We have log. So we have different type of the data type which are required, and then these are the Drift columns. These are the Dart data types, and these are the SQL data types which are going to be created. So this is how we can define a table using the Drift package. So this is actually table which has been defined in the Drift package, and then we said our task is a class which extend the table, and then here we are creating the first column, giving the ID is the column integer type column which has been auto incremented. It means it will become automatically become the primary key of this specific table. Then we also have the content which specify the task information. Then we are applying the constraints on it, that with width length, maximum length is 250. It cannot accept anything more than that. And then we also have a boolean which is of the type boolean, and then this one the content is type string or the text. So in this way we can define the table. We can also define the custom primary key. For example, if we want to make this email as a primary key, then we can define it at like this, and then we are telling that this email column is actually become the primary key of this table. Then we also have we can define the foreign key relationship between different. We have the artist, and then the albums belongs to an artist. So we can specify in a what you can see that inside a column we can specify that this is actually a reference to this specific ID value, and in this way we can create a foreign key relationship. We can also define the null label columns. We can also define the default values. We can also define references. Then we have validation checks, uniques, indexes. We can define all those things using the programming APIs of the Drift package. Okay, and then you can see more details about that in on this link. So let's start making our to-do application. So what I did, I just create a simple application, and the name of that application is Flutter lecture number 6 to-do app, and using the Drift package. So right now there is nothing here. It is a simple application which is a by default. When you create a new application, it will automatically create that application for Flutter create that application for us as a at a starting point. So what I need to do first, then I need to actually need to add these packages which are written down here. We have a drift underscore flutter, and then we also have a path underscore provider. Then we also need the div packages that we want to install. So let's do that installation first. Open the terminal, and then inside the terminal, what we will do, we will say uh, flutter pub add. So we have the packages number one drift, then we have drift underscore flutter, and then we also have the path underscore provider. So when we press enter, it will actually fail to update the packages. Okay, what is happening here? Did we write we say flutter pub add drift? We don't want to put a comma here. We don't want to put a comma here. It is more like a space. Then we press enter. And then, of course, it will start adding these things. And then if you look at that, it has added these packages for me. So we have a drift underscore path. And then we also need to the dev packages. So if we say flutter of add, and then for the drift we have a build underscore runner, and then we have a drift underscore dev, and then we put the dev uh, dash dash dev flag, so that they are the development packages. So if you look at, we have dev dependencies, so it will come when you press enter, it will automatically add these dependencies here. To be on the safer side, let me run the flutter get, so that we have downloaded all these packages for us. The next thing is that I need to create this task class. So first of all, what I will do, I will just go and then create a new models folder, and inside the models folder, I will say task.dart, and then here I am going to say class, and this is a task, and then it should extends the table. So I need to make sure that I am not importing from the widget cap property. Now we need to make it that we are including that table from the drift package. So, and then here, what I need to do, I need to say I want to have an int column, and then we say get ID, and then that will give me an integer value, and then should be auto increment, and then we are going to create that one. And then similarly, we also have a text column, and then we say get, it is a content, and then it is a text type, and then not this one, it should be it should not capital three shape text, and what is happening, text, and then we say with, let me text, where is the text column, we say text. Yes, content type is equal to not text, not this one. Let me remove this import from here first, and then we do that. And then what we need to do here is the dot with default, and then I say max, not with default, sorry, we need to say with length, with length, and we say max, and then we say 250 characters, and at the end we are going to create it. And then we also have a boolean column, and then we say get, we have a status, and then we are going to get the boolean, and then we are going to create it. So here we have just created a small structure of our table with the name task, and then we are going to create the next thing that we need to create is the database service class. So first of all, let me create a new folder here. We say services, and then inside the services, I am going to create a database underscore service dart. Okay, so here inside we are going to create a class that will be a database service class. And the other thing that I want to say, I say add the rate of, I say drift database, and then here I say tables, and tables actually is a list of tasks. So actually I don't want to put a new, but I just want, so we have imported the task table here, and then this one should be the extends from the underscore dollar, and then we say database service. So before I just need to say part. So part is actually coming from database underscore service dot g dot dart. So what I'm telling that this is class is going, this specific file is going to be created by our build runner, that we are going to run that command inside our command prompt. But here we are telling that we are defining that inside our table database we have the table task, and then this class is going to be created inside this file, which is going to be generated by the system. And then inside the file we are need to have that one. For example, we are going to say database service, and then we are going to run the super constructor. And then this one, we need to provide a method that we are going to define shortly. And I at the rate of override, then we say int, and then override, yes, and then we can say that it is an int get schema version, and that is giving us one. After this one, after this class, we are going to create a function here that we are going to use here. So that function is actually is this function that we need to open a connection. So what we want to do here, so we want to have a lazy database, and then we are say open connection with our database, and that is going to be executed here underscore open connection. That is this function that we are going to need to provide it here. And then here we say it is going to return me a lazy database, and that database is actually going to create a async function. And then inside that async function we are going to provide certain things. We say that will return me a drift database. And then in the diff database, first of all, I need to give the name. So I give any name. So we say to do underscore app underscore db.db. This is the file name that we are going to provide here. And then of course at the end we need to provide the set. And then if we want to use that database with the web, then for the web we need to provide the specific what you can say that so we say web, and then we say drift options, and inside the drift options we have this one. So we say SQLite 3 vessel, and then there, so we need to provide the URI, and then URI dot parse. Okay, so what I need to give you here, I say SQLite 3 dot vessel. So we need to provide, so this is already given inside the what you can say that inside the documentation of the drift, so you can read more details about that. But if you want to use your what you can say that if you want to use your database, use this application on the web framework, web platform, then you have to write this .js. So once I did that, so it is all done. And now, I mean, right now it is giving me an errors, but once I have done that, I can go into my, I will just clear it. And then now I need to run that specific command here. So I say run, sorry, dart run. So we say dart run build underscore runner, and then we have a build. When I press enter, so you will see that it is going to start the executions, looking at our files, and then actually it will create this package, this file for here inside the services folder. So let's wait for some time when the command is running. So you can see that it has actually created the start file for me. And then this is a long file which create different type of the classes inside the helper classes and so on. So it will help me to build all these things. And then it also tell me that the part of this class, this file is inside this file. So we will be working on mainly on this one. So, and you can see that all the errors has gone away. So this is the first thing that we have created our model successfully. We have created a model, then we have created a database, and then we also created all the helper files that will help us to do all these CRUD operations: insert a new record, update a record, delete a record, and then read the different type of informations from the database. So that will be helpful for us. So this is all done. So let's go back and then see what I need to do next. Of course, after that, once we have created that model, then we need to create the methods or the functions that will help me to insert the records inside this database table or to read it from there and so on. So let's come back here, and then inside this function, after this one, we are going to create new. So we say it will give me a future, and then it will give me an integer value as a value. That is actually, it will return me the int of the, let me show. So we insert uh, task, insert task, and then it will take the task companion. So we have a task object, and then we are going to say we are going to return into, and then we need to give the name. So we have the name of the table is task table, and then we want to insert something inside it, and then we say task object. So that is coming inside. If you look at that, this insert method is actually returning me what? It is return me integer value, this one, and then it will say insert mode future. It will return me the I think the ID value of that specific new record which has been inserted, and that is what we are returning it back. Then we also have the we can write the read method. So we are, this is our, what you can say, that we are the uh, insert new record, and then the second one is the that we are going to read data from table. So we are a future, and that will return me a list of tasks that. So task data is a file. So if I just look at the task companion, this is a class which has been created inside. So you can see that we have integer value for the ID, for the content and the status, and then we have the constructor for this one. And then we also have the insert, and then so on. So we are doing using that one. And similarly, for this one, the task data is also a class which has been defined here. So we are using actually all the things which has been defined or generated automatically by the drift package. We are using them inside to return the data. We say get all tasks, and then we are going to return that one. So again, we say we want to return, we want to return select, and then we are selecting from the task table, and then we say dot get. When you say dot get only, so what it will do, it will read all the records from that task table and give back the answer in the form of the list of the task data. The if you go back to the slide, so you can see that we also have this one, which is the reading the selected row. So we are applying certain where clause, so specific conditions that we need to read. So we can say that, for example, we say again, it is a future, it will give me a list, and then that list will be equal of the task data, and then we can say that get selected tasks. Okay, so then we say we want to return, and then again we have a select. We need to tell that from where, which table we want to read, and then we say dot dot where. So we are going to apply certain filters on it, and then after that we say get, and we are done. So let me do here. So we say we have a task, and then inside the task it will be selected only if the t dot id value dot is smaller than or smaller than smaller or equal value of the 5. So if we do that, then it is going to return me the value. Okay, the expression has dd dot, so what I am missing here, let me check what is the error. Void, so its value cannot be used. Try, okay, so we say dot dot where, and okay, we also need to add this thing, and then no. So we are putting the where class here. We say select. Okay, let me see task, and okay, we are going to select this thing, and then we are going to do that. Yes. So actually what we need to do, we say select task where the id, and then on that select, which is returning from this one, we want to get the method, so that will return me a list of the task data, and that will be sent back to the, we can also say that we want to only access those what you can say, let me put copy this thing here and then put it here, and then we say select completed task which has been completed. Okay, so we can say that task dot status, and then we can say that dot is, okay, we can say that is how we can check this thing, so we can say is value, and then we say true. So we can do that. So when we say that if the task value is true, then we are going to return that thing, but I need to check that if it is perfectly right or not. But we can apply different type of the where conditions, and then we can return different type of the data that from our table. The next thing that we want to do is the update. So again, in the update we are going to have this method, so which is going to return a not function, we say future, and that is going to return me a bool value, and then we say update task, and then we have a task data, and then we say have a task data, and then this is going to say, we say return me update, and then we want to update the task table, and then we say replace the previous one with the new task data. Okay, so it is going to replace the new value, and then similarly what we can say that we also have the delete, so we have a delete task. Again, we are going to add this one here, so we say future, and then we say it will just return me anything, and then we say delete task, and then again I need the int id value, which the id that we want to, the task that we want to delete, what is the id of this one. So again we say return, and then we can say that delete, and then we say task, and then dot dot where, and then we say we apply the filter t, and then we can say that t dot id dot equals the id value that we want to do, and then at the end we want to dot get, that will go, and that it will execute that specific command for me. So that is the part where we are going to say that we have done created a task model, then we have implemented, we generated the companion classes and the companion the helper classes and the data and the functions, and then we also using them inside the completing different type of the create, read, update, and delete operations. So once we have done that, of course we need to implement the what you can say that implement that specific GUI. So inside the GUI again, I will just come back here, and then I say create a new pages, and inside the pages, I just create a new file. I say home underscore page dot dart, and then this is what you can say that this is a stateful widget. So as stf, and then stateful widget, I say home page, and then we are going to implement the same thing that we have built in the previous application. So what I will do, I will just try to create the things here. So I say we have a scaffold. Inside the scaffold, we have the body, and inside the body, we have a future builder. And then in the future builder, we want to have a database service dot get task. So we say database. First of all, what I need to do, I need to come back here inside our main, and then I need to create what you can say that uh, uh, we say we have a late, and then we have a database service. So we say database service. So we define that one, and then I need to initialize so widget uh, widgets Flutter binding dot ensure initialized. Everything is initialized, number one thing. And then we say database service is equal to database service. So once we have done that, so I come back here rather than using this one, I remove that. I just delete everything from here. Number one thing. I also say that this is our uh, to do app drift. And then here I say I want to have the home page. And then of course I don't need to provide anything inside. So we are all done here. And then the next thing is that I need to come down here inside my home page, and then using that database service dot get all tasks. So when I say get all tasks, so it will give me a future what you can say that it will give me the future data, because they are the, and then we are giving the what you can say that we need to have a context, and then we also giving the snapshot. That snapshot is actually show me, is represent that future data for me. Okay, so that should if we have the not snapshot dot has data, is the that data does not have anything, then what we want to return, we want to return a center, and then we can say that we have a child, then we have a text, then we can say that click on the plus button to add a task. Okay, so this is what we are going to return. So this is one thing. And then in the else part, in the else if we have the don't have the data, I mean we have the snapshot dot has data, and we need to specify the and then we can say that snapshot dot data. Okay, and then we say is empty. I mean if it is also empty, I also need to put a null safety checker here, and then in that case we are also going to do the same thing, and again we can just say that we want to return this thing. And the else part, if it is not the case, then we are going to do that something. So we say final, we say task is equal to actually we say tasks, not task, snapshot dot data. So once we have that one, we add all the, then we say we want to, let me quickly copy that specific, what you can say that return me, yes, I would just copy this thing here, and that is going to save. So let me so what I am doing here, we are a list view builder based on that list, which is the number of tasks, which is how much task we have. and then we are giving the builder task is equal to task of the index, and then we are showing those information inside. Then of course here is the task data, so we say task data. So actually what we are doing, so when we are on change, when we are changing the value, then what we want to do, we want to create a new task data based on the task ID content and the new value of the status. When we are changing the status, so it is going to update it is a completed or not. And then we also have a trailing icon. Then in the trailing icon we are saying that which is a delete one. Then we want to delete that specific task at that specific index value. So we can just simply, we have that task here. So we can just simply say task dot ID. We don't need to have that index part because we already have that. So actually, if I just run that, we already running the emulator here. So I will just come down here and then we select the device from here and then try to run it and then see what happened here. Of course, we also need to implement the floating button on the which we are going to add a new task here. So with that, what we need to do. But right now, I just want to show you that if there is no task, then it will show me this message. Click on the plus button to add a task on that one. And after this one, once we have this one, the scaffold, inside the scaffold, we are going to add the what you can say that. The future builder, let me copy it while it is trying to run. Nope, still, I mean, it is working. So let me, what I will do, I will just try to put these things here. And then here we are going to show me an input dialog box where we are going to get the information from the user, the task, and then we are going to actually execute that specific. I will let me that we have already discussed that thing. So if in the previous lecture, so it is still trying to execute. And let me put that one here as well and then save. Connection timed out. Okay, let me finish the application because again, and here we are creating the floating button, and then we have a plus button, and then we are show the dialog box, and that we have already seen in the previous. So first of all, what we are doing, we have a text input controller, and then we are show dialog, and then we have a dialog, add a new task, and then we are giving the input decoration, and then we need to we have the input declaration. We have a text field that we are going to show, and then we have some input declaration. Then we say cancel. When you say cancel, it will just remove that one. This is the value. So this value is coming. The method value is not defined for the value. What is that? So let me check. Value. So we are actually, we need to import that class for us. So that is the only thing which is need to be done. So let me rerun the application and then see if it is coming up. Reloaded. So we have selected the Android emulator, building the APK. Okay. Installing that application on the connection timeout. Okay, so I think that I need to rerun that application for me. So let me task manager. I want to stop that task. Okay, So it is saving the, and then we want to run that application again. The finger crossed, it is going to run. So finally, it is coming up. So starting up. So now you can see that. So when I click on the plus button, actually it will ask me to give me a new task. So I say new task. And when I press add, it is going here. When I click on that, actually it is going to change the value. And when I delete it, it actually has been deleted. So one, there is no task. So we say uh, build this app on your own. And then we do that. Then we add a new task. uh, Subscribe the channel for the new videos. So when I press add, so you can see that. So I do that, and then I can say I can delete it. So I can do to perform all those things. So that is the this lecture. This is the second part of this database integration of local database integration into the Flutter mobile applications. And that is the end of our lecture. And there are reference. I hope that you have enjoyed, and I have guided you in a proper way, step by step, show you how we can do that. And then all these codes are available in the GitHub repo, so you can get the link in the description. So thank you very much. If you have not subscribed, then please subscribe so that you can get a new notification of the new videos. And in the next lecture, we will be talking about how we can integrate the REST APIs inside our Flutter mobile application, and then how we can collect the uh, data from the internet, from the web, and show and build an application on the services inside our application. So thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.